About the Flexors Complete Guide. Over the past several decades, the way people work has drastically changed. While 30 or 40 years ago, the majority of work was done standing up and moving, in recent years, more and more people are spending their days sitting, working from desks and computers instead of doing any physical labor. As the lives of more and more people have become more sedentary, there have been problems arising that have to do with how this constant sitting affects the health and wellness of people. Much of a sedentary lifestyle has been on how it affects weight, which makes sense considering the rising obesity levels in the country. However, with so much focus being on the weight people gain when they are inactive for the majority of their days, other issues caused by sitting too long have gone ignored. One of these problems has to do with hip flexor disorders. Hip disorders are a group of conditions that often go unnoticed by people, until they start to suffer from the condition themselves. These disorders are caused when the group of muscles around the hip joints become stiff and unmoving, causing serious pain and a decrease in mobility. While these disorders can be caused by many things, more and more people are suffering from hip flexor disorders due to how much time they spend sitting. For most who suffer from hip flexor disorders, the only options they think they have is getting a prescription or going in for therapy. Medications can reduce the pain, but don't offer a long-term solution. And therapies are great, but extremely expensive, especially if people have to keep going back when the muscles tense again. Hip Complete Guide is a program that was put together for those who are having problems with their hip flexors, but don't want to spend thousands of dollars for temporary solutions. With this program, users will discover how they can undo their hip flexor damage and keep it from reoccurring, giving them long-term relief. What is hip flexors? Again, hip flexor disorders are caused when the group of muscles around the hip joint become tight and tense, causing pain and a decrease in mobility. Hip Flexors is a guide that teaches users about this problem, walking them through the probable causes for the problem, as well as different solutions that can be used to reverse the condition. Hip Complete Guide was created because there is so little information available on hip flexor problems. And doctors who help treat these painful disorders are quick to prescribe medications, not taking the time to help people actually undo the damage and find a solution. With hip flexors, not only will readers find an assortment of different solutions, they will also find clearly explained information on what could have caused their disorder. While long periods of time is often the cause of hip flexor disorders, with Hip Flexors Complete Guide readers will discover the different types of hip flexor disorders. They'll be walked through descriptions of tight flexors, fat psoas, flexor pain, and even fat flexor. Once users know which condition they have, they will be able to use the Hip Flexors Guide to get a clear solution, one that can help them reverse the symptoms and find long-term relief. In the Hip Flexors Guide, users will also be walked through many different stretching exercises that they can use on a daily basis to help accelerate their recovery from their hip flexor disorder and prevent it from happening again. These stretches are easy to follow and can be used by those with even limited mobility. Over time, as the muscles around the hip joints begin to relax, users will find the stretches becoming easier and easier. Finally, the Hip Flexors Guide isn't just about educating about hip flexors and undoing the damage, it's about preventing the damage from happening again. With the guide, readers will discover how they can prevent future disorders from happening. While they will always have Hip Flexors Complete Guide to help them with future flare-ups, prevention is always preferred. Benefit flexors. For those who have suffered through a hip flexor disorder, the idea of having relief and mobility back is more than benefit enough for using the guide. However, there are many more amazing benefits that come with the program. The first benefit of hip flexors is that it was made by experts. When it comes to the body, there is no such thing as being overcautious, which is why the Hip Flexors Guide was created by someone who has used the system with success. Plus, Hip Flexors was checked and approached by several injury specialists. In addition, crafted by experienced users and experts, Hip Flexors is able to give users the proper training they need to reverse their hip flexor conditions instead of just cover up the pain they cause. Using the training technique laid out by Hip Flexors, users will find the proper steps they need to take to unlock and relax their hip muscles. When done properly, this training technique will completely undo users' hip flexor disorders. Hip provides so much amazing information for those who want to know about their condition better so they can prevent the problem from reoccurring. A list of some of the information readers of hip flexors will learn through the program can be found below. With Hip Flexors Complete Guide, users will learn important posture elements, key muscles in the body, reasons behind hip flexor conditions, how to calm the body, ways to lose weight and boost energy, how to prevent psoas muscle alterations, dangerous workouts, and so much more. With hip flexors, users will be given the key information they need to not only reverse the damage done to the hip flexors, but how they can adjust their lifestyles in several small ways to support the overall health of their hips, preventing the damage from happening again. Plus, with the Hip Flexors Complete Guide, users won't just learn the proper exercises and stretches they need to do to improve their mobility and decrease their pain, they'll learn the right order to do these exercises. Because the stretches and exercises work to slowly loosen the muscles and strengthen them, over time they will change and become a bit more challenging. By following the Hip Flexors Guide, users will be able to easily follow the order laid out for them to get better results in faster time. Include Flexors Complete Guide. While the Hip Flexors Complete Guide is an amazing resource for those who are ready to reduce their hip pain, regain their mobility, and prevent a hip flexor disorder from happening again, there is currently an offer that makes purchasing the guide more appealing than ever. For a limited time, those who purchase the Hip Flexors Complete Guide will also get access to several free bonuses. The free included with the Hip Flexors Complete Guide work to complement the information found in the guide, providing users the support they need to better their health and wellness. With these bonuses, which are worth several hundred dollars, users will get a fuller understanding of their bodies and their healthy, so they'll be able to improve more than just their hip mobility. The bonuses included with the purchase of the Hip Flexors Complete Guide can be found listed below. Abundant Health and Fitness, the Ultimate Life Improvement Encyclopedia, Health Hero, Losing Weight, Nature's Way, Weightlifting and Weight Training, Physical Wellness Secrets, 7-Week Slim Down. When combined with hip flexors, these 7 bonuses will help users take their health and wellness to a completely new level. Purchase flexors for a limited time. The Hip Flexors Complete Guide is available at a discounted price on its website, www.prohipflexors.com. While the regular price for the guide is $59, it is currently available for $27. This price includes all the amazing bonuses listed above. In addition to the bonuses and discounted price, purchasing the Hip Flexors Complete Guide comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. If users aren't satisfied with their purchase or aren't getting the results they expected, they can return the guide for a full refund, no questions asked.